Hey, what's going on guys, Sebastian here again, and in this video I'm going to teach you which Facebook conversion events you should be using to run your e-commerce business when using Facebook ads. So there are several different events out there, some related to e-commerce, some not, but I'm going to be talking about the three main events you should be focusing on. But before I tell you which events these are, I want to tell you like the overall picture so that you don't get confused and so that you understand the context. Right, so when you choose a campaign in Facebook, when you're creating a campaign, I'm just gonna write campaign here. When you choose a campaign, Facebook is gonna ask you which objective you wanna use for your campaign. So it can be page post engagement, website clicks, video views, website conversions. And if you saw one of my videos, I'm gonna put a link right here. You wanna check that video out. It's a video about which objective you should choose to run your campaigns. If you saw a video, I'm gonna kind of spoil it here. You should be using the website conversion campaign. That's the one I recommend. So I'm just gonna put WC for short. So WC. Now, when you use a website conversion campaign, you're telling Facebook, hey, I want you to pretty much optimize my ads for conversions, like focus to give me conversions. But then Facebook is gonna tell you, hey, which kind of conversions do you want me to optimize for? Because there are many types of conversions. A conversion can be a lead, it can be a webinar registration. A conversion can be a new content, an add to cart, or a purchase. So then you go to the ad set level, ad set, and this is where you specify which kind of event you want your Facebook to optimize for. So in here you're gonna see a list of events. So when you actually go to your ad set on Facebook and you click on conversion events, there's gonna be a big drop down of events that you should that are available. So as I told you before, there are many types of events: leads, webinar registrations, ad payment information, all that stuff. But the ones you should be focusing on, and the ones that I wanted to use, are view content, add to cart, and purchase. So these are the three main events that you will be using to run your e-commerce business on Facebook. So now it's not only about, hey, I'm just gonna choose whatever event I want in whatever order. There's actually a progression, kind of like a progression or series of events that you should follow, kind of like a process that you should follow in order to go from the first event, which is a view content, to the second, and finally to the third event, which is a purchase. So let's first talk about the view content. What is a view content? A view content is pretty much when someone clicks on your ad and they go to your product page. So they saw the content, they saw the product, they saw the image, they saw the product description, they saw the title, they saw the price. So they saw the page, they saw the content. That's called a view content. Now, the view content doesn't only mean that people saw a product page. It can be that someone saw a landing page or a blog post or a webinar registration page. The idea is that someone saw the content. You took them from Facebook to another place and they saw that. So that's registered as a view content. When someone goes to your page, product page, and they see it, immediately Facebook conversion is triggered. A view content is triggered and Facebook knows that that event happened. So that's the first event. And that's really the first part of the process. The second event is the add to cart. So add to cart is just like the name says it. People go to your page, they see the content first, they like it, they want to buy the product, they are good with the price, they're okay, they add the product to their cart. When they add the product to their cart, the add to cart event is triggered, and now Facebook knows that conversion happened on your website or on your online store. That's the second event. And the third event is the purchase, right? So as the name says it, it's a purchase. When someone goes to your site, they saw the content, the product page, they liked it, they added to cart, and they proceeded and paid. The purchase event is gonna happen when someone makes the purchase, they pay, and they reach the thank you page. The thank you page is just the page that goes after the checkout page. So for example, you go to the page where you put your credit card information or you pay with PayPal, and once you actually make a purchase, then you are redirected to another page. Once you are redirected to that page, the conversion is triggered, right? So a purchase. So pretty much, just to make it more visual, I'm a more visual person, the first step, these are the steps, right? So This is a view content, this is an add to cart, and this is a purchase. So this is what happens. First a view content happens, then an add to cart happens, and then a purchase happens. So which one you should be using? Let's talk about that. Now that you know what they're about, which one you should be using to run your e-commerce ads. So first of all, this has a lot to do with the Facebook pixel. When you use the website conversion objective right here, you will be using the Facebook pixel to optimize your ads. The Facebook pixel, I mentioned in a lot of videos, but it's pretty much like the brain of your ads. It's a brain that the more data you give it with the conversion that happens on your website, the smarter it gets, and the smarter the Facebook pixel gets, the more it helps you. It helps you make sales, it helps you get better results, it helps you make more money in the long term. So you really want to focus on making your Facebook pixel smart, because it's really like the engine of the car. If you don't have a good engine, even though you have a Maserati, but it has a bad engine, you won't be going very far. That's really what the Facebook pixel is about. So if you're just starting out with Facebook ads, if you have a completely new account, new store, everything, you have a new Facebook pixel, your goal is to start feeding that Facebook pixel with data. Because the more data you give it to the Facebook pixel, the smarter it will get and the better results you will get for the long term. So in the beginning, you want to focus on building that brain, building that engine. And how are you going to build that engine? How are you going to build it the fastest way as possible? Well, you will want to use the event that happens the most frequently, right? The most frequent event is the one you want to use in the beginning, because the more frequent the event is, the more conversions it triggers, the more information you give to your pixel, and the smarter and bigger it gets. So let me ask you a question. Which is more frequent, a view content, an add to cart, or a purchase? So a view content is actually more frequent than anything, because let's say that 100 people come here and they saw the content. But out of those 100 people, only 30 added to cart. And out of those 30, only 5 made the purchase. So what happens more frequently? A view content with 100, an add to cart with 30, or a purchase with only 5? So clearly this is way more frequent than an add to cart and than a purchase. So you're giving the Facebook pixel 100, let's put Facebook pixel right here. So you're giving 100 conversions to the Facebook pixel with this one. So it's gonna go faster. It's just gonna get bigger faster because you're giving it more conversions. Now with the add to cart, if you're giving only 30, it might not grow as fast because it's not a very frequent event. And the purchase, of course, it's only 5. Then it's not gonna go so fast because this event happens less frequently. So you wanna start, when you're just starting out with Facebook ads, you wanna get started with a view content event, because that way you'll grow your pixel. Once you're already getting conversions, and let's say you're getting hundreds of view contents, you can start optimizing your ads for add to cart. Once you're getting hundreds of add to carts and you are just getting a lot of data to your pixel, if you're getting hundreds of add to carts, you're getting like thousands of view contents, right? Because if you get 1,000 view contents, you might have gotten 300 add to carts, right? So once you're getting hundreds of view contents, move to add to cart. Once you're getting hundreds of add to carts, move to purchases. And actually, you know what? Move to purchases when you're actually making a lot of purchases consistently, because when you optimize for add to cart, that's really gonna make you a lot of sales if you have a winning product and a good campaign. So I don't want to give you exact numbers because I don't believe in like a rule of thumb that you should follow, like, okay, 371 add to carts, that means you use purchase, right? I don't see it that way. I just see it like when you're using view content, when you're optimizing for view content and you're getting good results, okay, you find a product, you're making sales consistently. Let's say you're making 1 or 2 sales per day, 3, 4, 5 sales per day. Okay, it's working. Now create a new ad set and use the add to cart event. That will really help you out because you now have a winning product. You have a campaign that's profitable. You have an engaging ad. Now, if you use the add to cart, you should be getting better results theoretically, because you are using an event that's more committed. It's people who add to cart are very committed, and they have a big intention to buy your product because they already saw the price in the product page. They're already willing to pay for it, so they actually add it to cart. When you optimize for this, it's a very qualified lead. So if you have a winning ad or campaign on the view content, event, if you optimize for add to cart, you should be getting very good results as well. Now, if this is working as well, you can create a new ad set and optimize for purchases, right? So Facebook, what it will do is that it will go to their database and it will look for people who are very likely to view content if you're optimizing for that. If you're optimizing for add to cart, Facebook will go to their database and look for people that are very likely to add to cart. They have tendencies to add products to their cart based on their history on Facebook. And if you're optimizing for purchases, Facebook will go to their database, look for all of these people that were tagged as buyers because they have a tendency to buy stuff on Facebook or outside Facebook, and it will show your ad to these people. So if you optimize for these events, the ones that are further along, you should be getting more results because it's a more qualified lead. But I wouldn't suggest you start here if you don't have any data on your pixel, because you won't have competitive advantage, you won't have leverage. So hopefully this is very, very clear, but you should be doing it like this: from view content, go to add to cart, from add to cart, go to purchase event. When you are testing different events on Facebook, don't change the existing ad set. Create a new ad set. So for example, you have, well, I'm running out of space here. So let's say I have ad set 1. I have, okay, and this is in view content. Now this is working, right? It's giving you good results, you're feeding your pixel, you're getting data, you're getting a lot of conversions, you're making sales. Okay, now duplicate this into ad set 2 and use the add to cart event. Okay, now maybe this is working or maybe it's not, whatever. It might not work, or just because it's further along doesn't mean it's gonna make you 10 times the money. It's just further along, it should give you better results in theory. So the same happens, if you have this and it's successful, or maybe it's breaking even, whatever, you want to test purchase, then duplicate ad set 2 or 1 and just, oh my god, do the same, and use the purchase event. Right, so hopefully this is very clear. It is not as easy as it seems in the beginning, so just know I don't want to confuse you or anything, but I'm just trying to tell you the theory and why things happen, how Facebook works. So in a nutshell, if you're starting out, start with view content, focus on feeding your pixel, try to get a good ad in there, try to find a good product with the view content. Once you're getting hundreds of view contents, you're getting add to carts as well, and maybe you're getting 1 or 2 purchases. Test the add to cart event, because that might really help you out. It's a more qualified lead. Someone that is very committed to buying the product. Maybe they didn't buy it because their dog was barking, or the husband came and they wanted to have dinner or something, so they didn't complete their purchase, but they have a big intention to buy an add to cart. And if it's still working, if you're just getting amazing results, and you want to keep testing, go ahead and test the purchase event, and that really help you out. I have personally been using the add to cart event for over 12 months successfully because I just tested everything, and for me the add to cart works the best. What I'm trying to tell you, there's no right way of doing it. You just gotta test everything. You just gotta test the different events, see how they perform for your account and for your campaigns, and keep moving and stick with what's working for you, because what works for me might not work for you, right? So guys, this is the video for the Facebook events, which one you should be using for your e-commerce campaigns and how to move through the process. So if you like this video, be sure to subscribe, smash that subscribe button, comment with your questions, and just engage in there. So see you in the next one, guys.